In the wake of the Taliban takeover in Afghanistan, Congress will have to redistribute billions of dollars intended to support Afghan security forces. Now, some advocates are pushing to keep that cash flowing overseas to support counterterrorism. The House Armed Services Committee is set to debate the future of that funding at their annual defense authorization bill markup on Wednesday. According to Military Times, officials from the Global SOF Foundation sent a letter to committee leaders asking that nearly $3 billion be redirected to intelligence assets and operations in the region. Military Times Deputy Editor Leo Shane joins me now with more on his reporting. Hi there, Leo. So how much of this money does Congress already plan to set aside for anti-terror work?
Yeah, there was about $3.3 billion that was supposed to go to Afghan security forces, the Afghan military, and we see that now getting distributed wherever lawmakers want at this point. About $350 million of it is still going to have to go towards shutting down some contracts, some cleanup work and everything. But the fate of the rest of it, the fate of this about $3 billion is sort of up in the air. We've heard a couple of lawmakers, as you said, the Global SOF Foundation, they're looking to make sure this goes to anti-terror work. Other folks are saying let's redistribute it to military construction efforts, equipment, readiness needs. So this is going to be kind of a big fight. It's a nice big chunk of money, and there's a lot of folks who are looking at our withdrawal from Afghanistan and saying this isn't over. There's still going to be a terrorist threat, still going to be a need for operations there, albeit unmanned operations from a distance, but that money needs to stay in Afghanistan and stay focused there.
Well, Leo, tell us more about the group, the Global SOF Foundation, that is calling for those funds to be increased. Who are they exactly, and what is their argument?
Yeah, it's a Tampa-based group, and they're focused on special operation forces, all their needs across there. A lot of former members there, but mostly an advocacy group. And I don't think they're going to be the last one we're going to hear from that makes a request like this. Look, even with a defense budget that's over $700 billion, there's always a fight for resources. There's always a struggle of, a couple extra, a little bit of extra money here, a little bit extra money there for priorities. What this group is arguing is, since this money was already looking to go to Afghanistan, since we were already sort of mentally checked in there, Senate has already approved it because the Senate approved some of their stuff earlier in the summer, why not keep it towards Afghanistan? Why not look at this one terrorist hotspot now and keep the money dedicated there? Now, I know a lot of Democrats in the House have already said that the defense budget is bloated enough. We need to move some of that money away. They're looking at what are domestic priorities, what are just some domestic military priorities. Are there construction projects, are there housing projects? So they're just family readiness issues that could be addressed with this. How can we invest the money back to help service members and not, undetermined missions?
Leo, can you explain how the U.S. relationship with the Taliban has changed now that there appears to be a greater threat from ISIS?
Yeah, that's a big question. I mean, we're just not sure what the Taliban is going to stand for, what they're going to do. We know that this ISIS-K spinoff, this ISIS-related group, has fought with the Taliban in the past. They have several members who are radicalized even for the Taliban. So this is one of those situations where the enemy of my enemy may be my friend. There may be an opportunity for the Taliban to fight with these folks, to limit how much they are able to lash out at America and other allies. But as we've seen in the past, the Taliban has not always cracked down on terrorist groups. They're content to control their territory and control their power and worry about that, and let outside forces worry about the terrorism threat. So U.S. forces right now are at least optimistic, or at least talking publicly, saying there may be some opportunities for, I don't know about an alliance, but at least a common enemy here. Where that goes from now remains to be seen, though. Just a lot of uncertainty.
Well, the Pentagon confirmed late Monday afternoon the withdrawal of the last remaining U.S. troops from Afghanistan. I want to play sound from the commander of U.S. Central Command, General Frank McKenzie, earlier.
We have left. That doesn't mean the opportunities for both Americans that are in Afghanistan that want to leave and Afghans who want to leave, they will not be denied that opportunity. I think our Department of State is going to work that very hard in the days and weeks ahead.
What is the Pentagon's plan to evacuate any remaining Americans and Afghan allies?
the Pentagon's plan is to leave it to the State Department right now. I mean, this is no longer a military mission. The last military forces have been taken out of Afghanistan. So that's a huge question of how can you do these evacuations? How can you safely get folks out without that military presence? We're waiting for some more details from the State Department. They've been saying they have contingency plans. They have ways to make this work. They still have plans to get a couple hundred Americans and other Afghan allies out. But a lot of that's going to be dependent on the Taliban opening up the airports, allowing these folks to go to the airport and travel without the threat of U.S. forces there. A lot of people are skeptical. A lot of people just don't know how this will work, and relying on the generosity of the Taliban is a big guess, is a big question mark as to whether or not these folks will be able to escape.
Very much an open question. The end, though, of America's longest war. Leo Shane, deputy editor of Military Times. Thanks very much, Leo.
Thank you.